Median of a data set, lesson 11. So we're going to explore median and what that tells us. Today's I can find the median for a set of data. I can say what the median represents and what it tells us in a given context. So make sure you have today's date, your page number, and you are ready to move on. Okay. Yeah, we're going to actually skip the warm-up here and jump to siblings in the house. Okay, so here we have a table, number of siblings for 10 students in Tyler's class. What would the dot plot look like for this? Yeah, let me quick draw this out. Okay, so drew out my quick dot plot. I'm sure yours looks a lot better. What's going to be the center of this? Probably closer over towards 2 or 3, right? Because we do have some larger amounts here, but most of it is heavily over on this side, isn't it? Okay. So what's the typical amount, do you think? I'm going to say it's probably somewhere around 2 siblings. Okay, so let's find the mean. How do we find the mean? Yep, that's right. Add and divide. What'd you get? So if you add those all together, you would have gotten 24. Divide that by 10. Remember, the mean doesn't mean like an actual number that is a number that makes sense. It's just the average. So we have 2 4/10 is the average number of siblings in the class. Now, obviously, we're not going to make 4/10 of a person, but when we're talking about an average here, we're not talking about actual numbers. Okay. So how does the mean compare to what I thought? It's pretty close. And again, it makes sense. Even if you did 3, that still kind of makes sense, right? I think you couldn't really do much more than 3 because even though 7 and 10 are pretty big numbers, it doesn't make sense that you would go too much past 3. Maybe 4. I think that 2 4/10, with all that's down this way, 3 or 4 max would be the most. So for me, mine was a little bit more than what I projected, but, can only do so much. What's the mean also summarize? Yeah, typically, most of the people have somewhere around an average of 2 siblings, but the way we got to that, when you find out that we had a couple that had a lot of siblings, is the fact that we had most of the class somewhere between 0 and 1 sibling. In fact, we have over half the class that either has no siblings or just 1 sibling. All right, let's find the middle. We're not going to worry about this first activity. Obviously, we're not doing this currently together. So the second part here's a data set of numbers of siblings from before. Okay. If we sort it from least to greatest, what's our median number? Median is going to be the 1. So let's go ahead and sort this in order. So I'm going to have 0. All right, I got 3 zeros. I got a 1. There's my other 1. There's a 1. I have 2 2s, a 7, and a 10. So our median is going to be the number that's in the middle. And we really kind of have 2 different numbers here in the middle, right? Because we have 10, So to equally go into the middle, we're going to have these two numbers here. So actually, both of those are 1. So the median here is going to be 1. So in this situation, we talked about before the mean being 2 4/10, and how that was kind of a little bit, off-putting since we had so many that had 0 or 1 sibling. So now that we were saying that it's 1 for a median, do you think that the median is a good measure for the typical number of siblings in this group? It might be a little bit more accurate because when you think about it, you do have 6 students that have 0 or 1 sibling. And you do have 4 others that have 2 or more, but we have 2 that have 2, and we have 1 that has 7 and 1 that has 10. So that certainly skewed our mean a lot, right? It changed it to be a greater value than it was originally. Okay, let's take a look at this dot plot showing travel time in minutes of Elena's bus rides to school. What's the median travel time? Yeah, it's going to be the 1 in the middle, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 total. So it's going to be between 6. So let's go from 6 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 8 or 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the median is going to be somewhere between 8 and 9. Well, if it's not 8 and it's not 9, we need in between those. What's going to be in between 8 and 9? Yeah, if we divide those by 2, we add them together and divide them by 2, we get 8.5, or 8 5/10. So what's that 8.5 or 8 5/10 tell us here? Yeah, it's right in the middle of the travel times. Sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes it's a little bit less, but typically it falls somewhere in the middle between 8 and 9 minutes, 8.5 minutes. And that makes sense with the data that we have here, right? We have a little bit of data that goes away from 8, but most of it's right here in the middle. Same here with 9. We have a little bit further up. So it just makes sense that that would be the median. All right, let's get median down. So median is one way to measure the center of a data set. It is, and this is key, the middle number when the data is listed in order. So, for example, 7, 9, 12, 13, and 14, the median is 12. Here, we have 3, 5, 6, 8, 11, and 12. When you have 2 in the middle, so when you have an even number data set, you take the 2 that are in the middle, add them together, and divide them by 2. So for this one, the median is going to be 7. Probably want to jot both of those examples down. All right, let's wrap this up. So what is the median? It is the middle number of a set of data. And we find that by putting all the data in order from least to greatest and finding the number that's in the middle. If we have 2 numbers in the middle, like we have an even number set of data, we take the 2 numbers that are right in the middle, add them together, and divide by 2. And that's our median. Is the median always one of the values in the data set? Nope, we just said it's when it's not. When you have an even number of data set points, you're going to end up taking those 2 in the middle, add them together, and divide by 2. So what's the median tell you about the data? It just really tells you where the center of that distribution is, right? It's going to tell you that middle piece of where the distribution is. So why do we need something other than the mean? Well, like when we talked about the number of siblings, the median was a better explanation of how many siblings we had in the class, because, we had 6 students that had 0 or 1 sibling. We had 2 that had 2, but then the 2 larger numbers, the 7 and the 10, made a big difference. Really threw that mean much higher than what most of the students had. So in that case, talking about the median, that middle value, that 1 was actually a better explanation of the center than using the mean. And again, those are all things that you can find, and depending on the data and how you talk about it, will make a difference on which one is better for you to use in the given context. Okay? All right. I think we're done. Thanks for watching.